try to anyway. For those of you who don't know, I couldn't imagine. Can't imagine. I think everybody knows. My name is John H. Crawford Jr. I am the father of John H. Crawford III, who on August 5th, 2014 was murdered by the Beaver Creek Police Department. And I don't use that term loosely. He was murdered. So, and whoever saw the footage, you can clearly see that he was murdered. My whole being under this umbrella for off and on for 20 years or so, almost, and being the son of a serviceman for almost 30 years, having lived overseas for 10 years, it's still unconscionable. I'm still frankly numb behind it. You know, I have my moments. You know, I only live about 2 miles away from where he's buried, so I'm here in Cincinnati. So I visit him every daily. I've been there today already. You just gotta ask yourself, I heard a lot of different testimonies today, and some fundamental questions that were asked could not be answered. You know, I find that's a bit ironic. We've got all this intelligence in the room, but we can't answer some fundamental things. You know? I heard the good lawyer say one of the things that he said training. You hear that word a lot, training. Training. Well, you know, training is important, it's very important. He also said that, you know, some guys don't wake up, you know, police don't wake up out of bed and want to shoot people. Well, I question that, you know, because when you speak in absolutism like that, you have to be frank and say, yes, some of them do want to shoot people. Let me be frank about it, because I live in Tennessee also, and I've been to the academy, same academy where they train police officers. Okay. I was a former parole officer, among some other things. When I was certified in juvenile justice at the academy in Tullahoma, Tennessee, I was there with the candidates, officer candidates. And you could hear them. You know, we eat lunch, dinner together. You can actually hear some of them. They're looking forward to shooting. And I would ask them, you know, we would have these discussions. I said, "Are you serious?" You know, "Yeah, I can't wait. I wish somebody would. I can't wait." You know, you've got to understand that you have people out there like that. I know it sounds harsh, you know, but the fact of the matter is that you have some officers out there that cannot wait to pull the trigger, especially when we get off into this thing called diversity. And you know, these are sensitive words. When you have learned or have not learned to value life, you know, when you've become so desensitized about human life that is absolutely nothing for you to engage in deadly force on an unarmed individual. I don't care what color he is, be he black, white, orange, you know, it doesn't matter. What it illustrates to me is very, very clear. It's very, very clear that he did not value that life, you know. Had it been because he couldn't, first of all, he couldn't associate with the life. And if you had what I had, some of the evidence that you all are not privy to, and some of you are, because some of it's public now, it's out there, you know, you would understand fully what I'm saying to you, you know. So, you know, training is definitely a must. Diversity is definitely a must. We must have all these things. But a fundamental thing that you have to have is you got to value life. Mm-hmm. Because all the training in the world is not gonna, your mindset, if your mindset is such that, hey, you know, this individual is nothing to me. It is nothing. This guy has killed before. In 2010, so it's an appetite to him. When we have leaks, when we have evidence that inside the Beaver Creek Police Department is saying that they want him out of there, frankly. Well, why isn't he out of there? Because his father has been there for 20 years, and he's best friends with the chief of police. So it's not that easy, Mr. Crawford. Why? So do you understand what we're dealing with? Our maturation level in this country is embarrassing to me. Because we don't want to say it like it is. It is what it is. And the only way that you can combat it is you have to confront it. And you have to confront it with truth. This man had no regard for my son whatsoever. He could have cared less. I find it interesting that the other officer, the sergeant, who looks to be maybe some Italian or something else other than just a white man, did not engage in deadly force. And he was there first. I find that interesting. So my whole involvement, if you will, with the task force is going to be, I'm glad it's in place. Let me say that. I welcome it. Anything that's positive, we need it. It's imperative. You got to have it. I'm looking at the composition of the task force. That's a beautiful thing. I wish we could get that in Congress. I wish we could get that in the Senate. I was in 2 weeks ago at the General Assembly, and I know I'm over my time, but let me just make this point. One of the fundamental things that's wrong in this country versus other parts of the world, hypocrisy is at an all-time high. If we get, I can deal with prejudice. I'm down south, I've talked to Klansmen, and we have some brothers and sisters that's kind of out there to extremes, and it's okay. I can deal with that, because perhaps if we walk long enough and talk long enough, we can bring those barriers down. But when you kill, you can't bring that back. That's non-negotiable. That's a done deal. It's not a my bad situation. And just because, even if you make a mistake and I got a shield and a sidearm, I don't get a pass, because the law is the law. It's already implemented. It's there. It's there. It's very, very objective. So what bothers me is when I hear prosecuting attorneys defending versus prosecuting, I got a problem. I've got a major, major problem with that. When I don't see accountability, the only reason civilians don't kill police is because there's a fear factor involved. They know that if I get convicted killing this officer, it's a life sentence, either way you want to put it. Be it capital punishment or the years they're going to give you. And that's in all 50 states. What we have to do, my friends, is we have to hold the individuals wearing the guns and the shield with the same accountability. Then we'll truly be equal. See, that's what you call equality. Those words are so loosely used in this country that it really is embarrassing. 132 members, and that's the General Assembly, correct? 15 of which are black. But we talk about equality. We can't even get past the front door. How are we going to be equal as a nation, as a country? I struggle with this. I rewind this in my mind daily. It will haunt me till I sleep in the hearts of the earth. But we're going to be proactive. We're going to do that. We're going to try to effectuate some change. But you know what? It's unfortunate that in this country, if you don't act a fool sometimes, you get no results. That's unfortunate, because we're supposed to be intelligent people. That's what we're supposed, that's the irony of all. We're supposed to be intelligent individuals. I'm looking at all the difference of ages and all the knowledge and wisdom in this room. And we're worse off than we were 400 years ago. It's 2015. And there's a common denominator. We've got a segment of white police officers killing black males. Period. And that's a problem for everybody, not just black folk. See, Beaver Creek didn't know how to handle it when they walked inside, what is it, Fair Forest, Fair Mall. They saw white folks with Justice for John Crawford. That messed them up. I'm sitting there looking at the footage. See, they saw white people with Black Lives Matter. I'm looking at their faces. Some of them like, oh my God. So task force, we've got work to do. And I'm going to challenge the task force and to make sure that this is not what I don't want it to be. It's, you know, when these type of things happen, we're always going to have our members, our governmental officials and everybody, you know, they got to do something because they want to prevent civil unrest. So we got to hurry up and implement something. We got to throw something in there. I don't care what it is, you know, but we got to put something. They get ready to get out of control, you know. So we're going to make sure that this is not just a ploy, you know. That's what we're going to make sure. I'm going to make sure of it because they're going to hear my mouth. Because I have a son to vindicate because he was doing nothing wrong. And that ain't John Crawford's doing. That's not John Crawford's doing. That's Mark Piedmont, the special prosecuting attorney, that after he defended the cops, he holds his own press conference. These are his words. John Crawford III did not deserve to die. John Crawford III did not commit a crime. He did nothing wrong. These are his words. But yet and still, the caller is free, the police officers are free, and he's dead. Now y'all know, anybody who knows me, we can't let that happen like that. I've got work to do. And with your help, we're going to effectuate some change. Because it's not about black and white. Well, there's some undertone there, but essentially it should be about right and wrong. Now, I know, and let me just say this for the record, I have a whole lot of friends who are policemen. A lot of friends. Even when my father was in the military. You know, I'm not anti-cop by no means. I worked under this umbrella the same. And when I was working, you know, we parole officers didn't care at the time in Tennessee. They do now, you know, but they didn't. And I even worked in the prison system for a while as an institutional parole officer. So, you know, I'm not here to bash police officers. That's not what this is about. This is about an ethical thing. And for those of you who understand it, won't be offended by it anyway. You know, so if you don't understand, if you take offense to it, then I ask you to do some soul searching. You know, so having said that, you know, I could go on day and night. 100 years from now, we'll all be old and gray. Come back in the next lifetime, and I'll still be talking. So I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna listen to some ideas. One of the things that we've got to change, though, task forces, we've got to hold some accountability from the different people. The government is only as good as the people who govern it. It's the people involved. If you got bad prosecutors, you got to get them out. It's very elementary. We talk around and we double talk and we triple talk and we try to be so eloquent at times and this, that. Now, let me just be frank about it. People are not doing their jobs, okay? Now, you got to ask yourself the question, it remains, why aren't they doing their jobs? Why? That's the thing. So we got to find that out. So we have to implement something where there can be an oversight committee or some overseers within this infrastructure, so that when you have a prosecutorial proceeding, then there's someone there to make sure that the prosecutor is doing his or her job. And if they're not, then they should be held accountable for it. But if you got a good old boy system where reciprocity is in full effect, hey Bill, we're going to take care of it. I know how it works because I'm one of you guys. So I'm not making this stuff up. This is how, and I'm down south. So let's just be real about it. That's wrong. That's not the way we do it. Then we want to know why we have a problem with international relations and things. Because they say we're the biggest hypocrites there sometimes. We got to fix that. And we can fix it if we want to fix it. We can fix it. We have the intelligence to fix it. So that's my message to that's one of the things that I want to see. I want to see some involvement where to hold individual jobs accountable, prosecutors who are not prosecuting, the grand jury proceedings. Some of this is going to have to be, frankly, legislative type oriented type things that have to be changed. The officers constantly using the subjectivity in the Second Amendment, dealing with the use of lethal force, where as Mr. Pietmeyer pointed out about the reason. What did he say? The officers having reasonable thinking if it's a situation where he can reasonably shoot or not. That's ridiculous. It's very, very clear that the Constitution states that you must be at imminent risk or danger to engage in lethal force. So all of this other madness, and that's what it is madness. It's just a way to cover up. I'm not advocating for everybody wants to go home. But when you have an officer doing ungodly things, you prosecute that officer. The same way as if Crawford go out here, and if I would be justified by God right now if I took the law into my own hands. But nevertheless, the criminal justice system is going to say, well, Crawford, you committed a crime because you didn't let us handle it. Well, handle it. And then I won't have to handle it. Do your job. That's what we're about. We're Americans. If you handle it, then we won't have to handle it. There will be no civil unrest. So then the question remains, is that what we want? I question that. So you want the civil unrest. Because you're not doing your job. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. But there's always been a problem in this country with the creed versus the deed. We got to step it up. It's 2015. And we done marched 60 years back. We're in the negative. We're in the red. And it's just mind-blowing. With all the brilliance out there and technology in it, it's absolutely crazy. I'm numb. But this is how I deal with it. I try to take a therapeutic approach. For right now, that's what I'm taking anyway. But I'm ready for whatever. Because if I can put my life on the line for someone I don't know, rest assured I can do it for mine. And I know any man or woman in here will say the same for your parent. Nobody wants to see their child slaughtered. And you will go to your grave if it costs you your life to get some justice. And that's what I'm asking. In fact, that's what I'm demanding. I'm going to get me some justice.